Well, here we are. Here we are. Shegun Fatuma, you must be using some technology to be the first one. I'm sure you have some technology in place. So many people want to beat you. Bebe wants to beat you. Bosse wants to beat you. Lola Sharonke wants to beat you. Flair wants to beat you. Pastor Irene wants to beat you. Kenneth Abobi wants to overtake you one day. But they are not getting it. They don't know how to always be number one every day. They don't know how to do it. I spoke personally with Bosse, and she say, this guy, Sheku Fatuma, we can't get him. So welcome everybody. Nice to see you come back today. Nice to see you back. Yes, and get ready. Let's get ready. Let's begin to share the link if you don't mind. Let's go ahead and share the links. So find out where your link is and let's go share it, please, if you don't mind. Let's go share the link for this program. Go find out where your link is, where you can share the share button. You must have the share button somewhere. So let's go share it, and then we will start immediately. Let's go share the button. Let's go press the share button, and we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to go. So welcome everybody. So many of you already, and I'm sure you got. Oh, by the way, Kike Moron KJ, today is your birthday, isn't it? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. By the way, I got your review of my book. Kike, I don't know how she got this book. I think she ordered it from Amazon. So she gave me a 4 pages review. She wrote me last night about all her emotions and impressions about this book. So she said she wants to read it the second time. So if you are a Nigerian or you are not, but you are really interested in what I'm prescribing to solving nations' problems, especially African nations or developing nations, how I want to resolve the problem of developing nations, you might want to get this book from Amazon. It's on Nigeria, but it will help. It's the same principle that is needed for every country. So so Kike read this book, and like I said, she she wrote me 4 pages of her impressions from it. So So, and of course, let me use the opportunity to say I'm also inviting people to go with me to Nigeria. I have about over 200 people already willing to go with me back to Africa, to change Africa. Not just to go on a holiday, but to go for life. Or some people are going for as long as possible. Some people are going for 2 years, at least 2 years or 4 years. So, so if you are interested in, making an impact over a whole continent, over millions of people, I want to invite you to consider moving back to Africa with me for some years, and let's contribute to the regeneration of Africa. If you wish to do that, just write to me. Write pastor@godembassy.org, pastor@godembassy.org. You can write to my foundation, Nigeria@SundayAdelajaFoundation.com. So those are for people who want to move with me to Africa to leave a mark, on their generation. So we'll send you more information about it as you get in touch. Okay, well, nice to see you again. Here we go again. This is another topic this morning. The topic of this morning says, money is not emotional. It is logical. Money is not emotional. Money is not an emotional thing. It's a logical thing. And that probably might explain why more men make money than women do sometimes. Because, men are not emotional. Men are logical. The same thing can be said about money. So money, money is like men. Money is like men. Money is not is not emotional. It's logical like men. And I can say that in another way. Money is not a woman. Women like money, but money is not a woman. Money is not emotional. Money is logical. So money is not a woman. Money is more a man than a woman. And so if you're a woman and you want to make money, you've got to learn to work on your emotions when it comes to money. You've got to manage your emotions when it comes to money, and you've got to put that emotion at the back seat and begin to really think and put on your logical hat and use that logic to build your secured financial future. So anyway, so money is not emotional. Wow. That is one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn about money. That is one of the hardest lessons I had to learn. That is one of the hardest lessons I had to learn. I don't know if you are observant enough, you probably have noticed that Pastor Sunday is a very emotional guy. I am a kind of emotional guy. Very emotional. Very emotional. Very emotional. Is that good or bad? Well, I don't know. I don't think I know. I think it could be good and it could be bad. When it comes to money, probably it's not so good. When it comes to life, I think it's a good thing. But that was a hard lesson for me to learn. And some of the things that contributed to my emotions, for me to be emotional, is because I grew up in poverty, you know. I grew up in poverty. I never wore my first shoes, my pairs of shoes that I remember, you know, before I was 12. And, you know, I was just walking barefooted all around my village there. And so I'm emotional about money. So I don't like poverty, and I don't like people suffering around me. I don't like people being in need. When I see that, I get emotional. As a matter of fact, I don't walk with money. I don't even carry money with me anymore, because I get so emotional. If I have $100,000 with me on any morning, by 10 o'clock, if I have that money in my pocket, $100,000 in cash, by 10 o'clock, by 6 o'clock in the evening, it's no more there. That old money is gone. And guess what? I've not spent any one of them on myself. I would have spent all of them on people that I talk to, that I meet, that are crying, that are doing this and that. So I had to be tough with myself. I have to put myself under control a little bit. I had to, you know, I have to just put restrictions, or what do you call it? Restraint. I've got to put restraint upon myself when it comes to money. So one of my restraints is I never carry money. I never carry money in my pocket. I never take money at all. I never go about with money, because if I do, then the wall of the restraint breaks down and it's all gone. Then I'll be violating all the laws of money that I know. So yeah, money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. You know, we want to be emotional. What do I mean by emotion? Emotion is when you are acting and taking your money decisions not based on statistics, not based on logic, not based on planning, not based on research, but when you are taking your money decisions based on pity, emotions, based on apathy, based on based on sympathy, and all kind of things like that. So you know, it's a good thing to be sympathetic, and it's a good thing to, you know, to have empathy towards people, and to feel for people, to have emotions, and to be able to associate yourself with the trouble that people are going through. But make sure that you don't put that on the front burner. Make sure you don't put that on the front burner. Make sure you don't put emotions on the front burner. Make sure you have, first of all, taken the right decision about money before you become sentimental. Make sure you have taken the right decision about money. Make sure you have paid yourself, you have paid your tithe. Make sure you have, make sure you have done your investments, you have done your savings. Make sure you have done all that before you begin to become a Father Christmas, you say, or Santa Claus. Before you become the philanthropist, make sure you have done your investments. You've done all what you need to do about money. So somebody could ask me, is being kind and being generous like this, is that bad? Not bad at all. It's very good. The Bible says that it likes those people who are generous to the poor, and God promises to bless them. But that does not mean that you should disregard other laws of money. That does not mean you should disregard other laws of money. Being kind it has its place, but even while you are being kind, that your kindness has to be calculated. That your kindness has to be calculated. Let me tell you the solution I came to. The solution I came to about being overly kind and being emotional about money makes you to be wasteful. So you end up being wasteful, actually. You not realize it, but some of those money you are giving to people and that you are pitying, you are acting out of pity, you are giving money to people that don't deserve it. Some of them appreciate it, but most of them end up wasting that money because they don't appreciate it as much as you do. So how do you get out of it? If you really are trying to be kind to people and you want to be considerate and you really want to help people, what I have done in my family is that we came together with my wife and we decided that, okay, what we're going to do is this. We are going to, our tithe is sacred. It's sacred. That is sacred. But our kindness has got to be put in plans, and it has got to be calculated as well, so as not to be wasteful. So what we have done is that just like we do with our tithe, our tithe goes automatically to God. That's 10% of our income. But apart from that, we have 5% of our income that we put aside for offering and acts of kindness and act of love. So what that means is that apart from our 10% tithe, we have another 5% that we are using for all other programs and all other offerings they are calling for in the church. But from that 5%, we don't just give all that 5% to church, because offering does, some of them could be in church, but some of them could be for people as well. So we know people in the church and people in the community, people around us who are in need of money, or who are in need. So we are not having another budget for that. We are using our offering budget to also do that. So we are giving our offering not just to the church. We are giving some of our offering to the needy as well. So sometimes all our offerings go to the needy. So that's one of the things you want to do. But when it comes to churches, even though I'm a pastor myself, understand, I'm a pastor, and every pastor is always, but let me tell you something about the pastors. And I'm not bashing pastors and I'm not attacking pastors, but I'm thinking maybe I should deliver people. If I want to deliver people, I must tell them the truth. Should I say this or I shouldn't say it? Because some, some people are writing me all kind of threat letter. People are not happy with some of the things I'm saying. But let me try to see if I should say this or not. But I think I should say it. When it comes to churches, a lot of manipulation is going on in churches. I'm very sorry about that, but that's just a fact. A lot of manipulation is going out in the church. And the target of these manipulations are on your emotions. That's just the truth. The pastors and church people target your emotions. The only way I know to get rid of that is to become numb when you are in church. Just become numb. I mean, become deaf and dumb during offering when they are asking for all kind of money. Just put off your emotions. Put off your emotions. Put off your emotions. Because if you are going to follow all the kind of offering pleas and all the kind of appeals that people are calling for in church, you are going to go bankrupt. You are going to go bankrupt. You are going to go bankrupt. You are just going to go bankrupt. So, so what I have decided to do in my family, maybe I don't know what you're going to do, but what we decided to do is that we are serious about our tithe. So we give 10% to God. Then we have another 5% that we give to that we give as offering and as part of the offering, and also, what offering is not just for the church now, but we also use it for people who are in need. So that puts my emotions and my sentimentalism, that puts it under check, and that makes sure that I cannot exceed my limit. So if my limit is 5% of my income, and that is part of it, we give to the church for whatever project they have. For whatever extra offering that we need, and also I use it. But mostly we use that. To tell you the truth, we use all that 5%. Most of the time we use it for other people. You just bless other people. But because we are the pastor of our church, I and my wife are the pastor of the church, we have decided to have the second tithe. But I don't need to tell you about this one. But it's just for us because, we don't want to be telling people to be giving while we are underperforming. So what we have done is that instead of asking people to be giving all that and, exploiting people and their kindness, we decided that our family would rather have the second tithe. So we have our second tithe that we, on personal level, without even anybody knowing, we just put that our second tithe and use it for all the different projects that we have in our church. So that's just our own decision. But the 5%, from that 5%, the only thing we do in church is that, when they do, apart from your tithe, you do offering. So during offering time, we take from that 5% and give offering. Then the rest of that we give to people who are in need. Then for the projects that we are the pastors, we need some projects. We just budget another 10% of our income for the project. For the projects, I hope all the pastors could be doing that. If all pastors do that, they will not need to, put all the burden on the church, on church members. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. Money is actually more logical than emotional. And let me tell you something about emotions. And this is the truth that is that's going to, I hope you'll be able to identify with. And I'm not trying to attack anybody here. I'm not trying to attack you, but I just want to let you know, when it comes to emotional giving, we all have a problem. We all have a problem, especially if you are one of the types that is emotional in giving, that gives by emotion. One of the things that make us to want to, give emotionally is because we want people to think that we are kind. Let's just face it. Let's face it, my friends. Let's face it. That's just the way things are. I'm sorry, but some of us, all of us have that weakness. We want to be kind. I mean, not that we want to be kind. We want people to think good about us. We want people to think nice about us, to think good about us, to think that we are good. We want to create an impression that we are good, that we are kind. So that desire to want people to think that you are kind, and that desire to kind of create not a false impression about yourself, but an exaggerated impression about your kindness. Maybe it's not totally bad. Maybe you're actually kind. But I think that your kindness and even that desire to make people feel that you are kind has to be guarded, has to be guarded. It has to be guarded. And it has to be put under some form of restrictions as well. And how do I know this? Well, I guess you know. I guess you can guess. I think you can guess how I know this. You can guess how I know this. Because I am not, I'm not an exception. I'm not an exception. I'm not an exception, you see. You see, I like to think about myself that I'm kind, you see. I like to think about myself that I'm kind. And that's where the problem is, you see. Or I like to think about myself that I want to be kind, or I want to be more kind. And that leads me to often violate the laws of money. And this law of money is that money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Money is not emotional. It's not. So how do I now fulfill my desire for people to praise my kindness, you see, or to acknowledge my kindness? How do I create that impression? How do I get that? How do I fulfill that my need to be appreciated? How do I fulfill that my need to be appreciated? Well, I'm an open guy. I'm an open guy. I tell people, I ask people to let me know what they think about my kindness. Not that, Jesus said, whenever you give somebody something, your left hand shouldn't know what your right hand is doing, and you shouldn't do it so that people will praise you. But I still want to know the result. I want to know what people do with my kindness. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm giving my teachings to you. And when I give you my teachings, I don't really want you to praise me, right? But I want to know if you appreciate it or not. I don't want to keep on doing something for people who don't appreciate it. I would rather do something for people who appreciate it. So I have that need. I don't know. That might be, you might call that selfishness, or maybe it could be, but I just kind of think that it might be a waste of time for me if I keep on doing something that is not yielding the necessary result. So I ask you to tell me your comments. I ask you to tell me what you want to do with the teachings I'm giving you. Well, that's how I fulfill my need for appreciation and for my need for appreciation. So, yeah. But when it comes to money, make sure you put that under some kind of, constraint. Make sure you have some constraint in place. Your constraint could be that you want to give 10% of your, if you are really very kind, you want to put another 10% separate. So when people come to you and tell you, borrow me money, or lend me money, and you say, well, because I used to struggle with this. Let me share with another practical thing with you. Personal things. Another area where I struggled with my emotion, because I didn't know the law that money is not emotional. I didn't know that law. And it's a pity. I didn't know the law. So when anybody comes to me to borrow money from me, I lend them. I lend the money to them. I lend them the money. Even though it might be my last money, I still did it. It's not because I wanted them to know that I was kind in that case, because I knew they would not return it. Most people don't return the money they borrow. They don't return it. So, but I used to have pity on people. Pity. Especially when they come with those stories. The stories they tell you when they want to borrow money from you. You know the stories. So when they come with the stories, I get emotional. That's just my problem. But that is not even the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge I had was I had challenges with my convictions. I was always thinking that if I had money, that it is a lie if I tell people I don't have money. If I tell people I don't have money while I know I have some money, I used to think that is a lie. And I used to think that, let's say I have my last $1,000, let's say, or $100, and that's my last money. And this person is coming to ask for $100 or $1,000 from me. I kind of feel that it will be a lie if I tell him I don't have that money. And, the reason I'm telling you this is because some of you might be struggling with this. Some of you might be struggling with this. It is possible that some of you are struggling with this. Maybe there are some of you who are like me over there. Maybe there are some of you who are like me over there. So I used to let emotions, and sometimes I still struggle with that, of course. But I used to let emotions take the better part of me. I used to let emotions take the better part of me. It's not wise, I know. I know it's not wise. I know it's not wise, but we need to fight it. We need to fight, and we need to keep on reminding ourselves that money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. So I began to really reconsider this, and that I was probably doing something wrong when I kept on discovering that all this 90% of people who took money from me never gave them back. And all these people are not giving them back. So one of the things that I would do when I discovered that people would not give back my money is that I would get angry. I'll get angry. That is also emotion. I get more emotional, and I get frustrated at them. And, I try to, promise myself I would never give them money again, or maybe I wouldn't stop even relating to them or being their friends. I used to do that, especially in my student days when I was in my 20s. Before principles took the better part of me. Later on I got wise, that's why I'm teaching you now. I got wiser a little bit. So when I discovered that most people who I borrow and lend the money will not give them back, I know that something is wrong. Until I began to study about loss of money, and I discovered that, wow, if you are not a bank, stop that practice. In my book, Money Won't Make You Rich, if you have read the book, you know what I wrote there about money? I said, never lend anybody money. Never let people borrow money from you. Never lend people money. And the reason you never lend people money is because you are not a bank. You are not a money lender. It is a bank that is a money lender. So if you are not a bank, please just forget about it. Forget about it. If you are not a bank, stop lending people money. And I discovered that it is better for you to stay in your budget. So if your budget is 5% of your income to give to people or to bless people with, just tell that person, yes, maybe you have $1,000 and somebody comes to you to say, lend me $1,000. Tell him, I don't have $1,000. I used to think that was a lie. But what I discover right now is that no. When the money you have in your hand has already been budgeted, when the money you have in your hand has already been designated for a purpose, for something else, don't be as emotional, as sentimental as using it to give it as a loan, as borrowing somebody or lending somebody that money. It is no more your money. If the money is already designated to be used for investment, for example, or if that money is been designated to your savings account and is going to your saving, it's no more your money. That money does not belong to you anymore. If that money has been designated to your family, or for your family, for your kids, for your future, that is no more your money. So don't think it is your money, because that is the problem we used to have. You must have a budget, and I will be talking about budgeting later on. And in your budget, anything that, like for example, in our own budget, only what is budgeted to give to others goes there. So if that money that is budgeted for giving out to others has already gone, then we say we don't have money. Even though I might have $1 million or millions of dollars in somewhere, those are no more my money. Those are project money, or those are investment money. So I used to think that it was a lie, because I know I have some money over there, or in my investment I have millions of dollars, and that is foolishness. For me to take my hand into my investment or go and sell my investment so that I could lend somebody that money, that is foolishness. That is not kindness. And that is what emotion does for you. Or if to take the money that I should use to pay myself, to now use it and lend out to somebody who will never return it, that is also foolishness, and it's one of the things that emotions do for you. That is foolishness. That is foolishness. You don't do that. Then it means you are not a principled person. It means you are not a principled person. You must be principled enough to discipline yourself by remaining at your budget limits. Maintaining your budget limits. You must maintain your budget limits. You must be able to keep to your constraints. So when people ask me for $1,000 and I know only $100 I can afford to give him, and without even asking him to give it back to me, without returning it to him, without returning it to me, I would rather tell him that I only have $100. So, but this $100, if you want, you can return it. If you want, might not return it. But this is the only money I have, and I don't have more money. And if you like, you can take it. If you like, you might not take it. Another thing you want to do when it comes to lending, and when people come to borrow money from you, is that what people do? They will always say, okay, I have a project that's going to cost me, let's say, $1,000, or let's say $10,000. Let's say $1,000. And we will say, if I could have this $1,000, especially if people from home, people from back in Africa, they will say, I need $1,000 to start a new business. Okay, so they would then add a statement and tell you things like something like, any amount is good. Just help me with any amount. Any amount is okay. Just any amount you can afford to help me with is okay. Are you familiar with things like that? Have you ever heard of someone telling you that they need some huge amount of money, but any amount you have is good enough for them. So they want you to give them any amount. And so most of the time, what I used to do, because of my emotions again, I never knew that time that money was not emotional. But I would go into all these emotions. I would say, okay, what do you need? You need $1,000? Okay, let me give you what I have. So I will go ahead and give him maybe 1,000, maybe 100 or 800 or 500 or anything I have. I want to give it to him. But you should never do that. If somebody wants you to help them, or they want you to lend money out to them, and they are telling you that, give them any amount you can, you remember that phrase, or help them with any amount you can. And, then what you need to do, the best thing for you to do is to tell them, okay, any amount I can. So how will you get the rest of the amount? How will you get the rest of the amount? If you need $1,000 and I just give you $100, what will happen to the rest of where will you get the rest of the money? Then the person will tell you, oh, I will go and ask my brother, I will go and ask my uncle, I will go and ask my friend, or somebody else will help me, I hope someone else will help me, and all that. So what you should do in that kind of situation, but what I used to do is that I just say, okay, let me just give him this little money, let him go, let me just give him what I have, let him just leave me alone, and just leave me in peace, let him just go. But that was also a mistake. That was a mistake. Even though it's correct that, it's correct that you are not giving him all your last money and you are giving him only what you can afford, that part is correct. But even in that situation, when someone is adding that phrase to it, that any amount you can, or that they will go and ask other people to add to it, or they will add to it from whatever they have, all that is, when it's not right to give money out to somebody who is talking like that. Why is it not right to give money out to somebody who is telling you, give me any amount you can? Because if you give them, let's say they need $10,000 and you give them just $1,000 or $100 out of 100, out of 1,000, they will never come back. They will never gather the whole money. They will never gather the whole money. And since they will never gather the whole money, they will not come back to you to say, well, this is the money you gave me. This is your $100. I give it back to you because I didn't gather the rest of the money. They would never do that. Out of all my years I've been living in this world for almost 50 years. So I'm not a kid. I've been around here for so long. I've been here for some time. In all my 50 years of sojourn on earth, I've never seen anybody bringing back the money I gave them and said, I couldn't raise the rest of the money, so take this and take your money back. I've never seen anyone do that. You know what they do? They will go ahead and squander your money. They will go ahead and mess up your money. Go ahead and mess up your money. They will go and just do whatever they want with your money. Go and spend that money. And then when you tell them, what about the project you said you were going to do? What happened to the project? And then they will begin to tell you stories. Oh, you know, I told you that time that it was $10,000 I needed, and you gave me 1,000. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that 1,000 you gave me. But nobody, I couldn't raise the rest of the money. Oh, I couldn't just raise the rest of the money. So I just have to manage the little you gave me. So what is manage? So what did you do with it? Oh, I just managed to do something. But what about the idea, original idea you had? What about the business you wanted to do? What about the thing you needed the money for? Oh, you know, the money was not enough, so I couldn't do that thing anymore. So where is my money? That's your problem. Where is your money? You know, even up till recently, you think I'm perfect? When you listen to me like this, you might think that I'm this smart guy, that I never make those mistakes anymore. Am I that smart? Okay. Do you think I never make those kind of mistakes anymore? Okay. You are very optimistic about me. Well. So you wonder how I know these things? I think you now know how I know these things. I think you now know how I know these things. You now know. You now know how I know these things. How I know these things because I've been a victim a long time, and I'm still a victim to some extent. This year, a Nigerian guy came to me. You know, it just came to me. You know, because in this country, I'm probably the most popular Nigerian here and the most senior. Maybe not the most senior, but the most famous or whatever. I'm like, they call me the embassy. I'm like an embassy all by myself. Even though we have an embassy, but you know, embassy is not emotional also. The Nigerian embassy is like money, it's not emotional. So they don't respond to emotions. They don't help anybody almost. And you guess who people come to? Or they all come to Pastor Sunday. So, so one guy came to me and said, okay, I need money for ticket. I need to go back to Nigeria because, not for ticket. He said, the Nigerian embassy, you know, they have a program to buy tickets for all Nigerians who want to go back home instead of them becoming a nuisance here. And so I need some money to start business when I get back home. So some thousands of dollars. And so that, you know, I will not be, and I was so emotional about that because I got compassionate because most people here in Europe don't want to go back home. So I was so touched by the sincerity of this guy that he wants to go back home. I said, oh, the fact that you want to go back home, I want to help you. So I told him, if the embassy buys you the ticket, then I'm going to give you some thousands of dollars to start a business when you get back home. So the guy kept on coming back to me every week and say, okay, what about the money? I said, I just told you, get the ticket first. So I thought I was smart. I didn't know Nigerians are also very smart. So I thought that if I could tell him to get the ticket, and if the embassy will get him the ticket, then I'm smart. After the ticket, I'll give him all the money I needed to give him. So the guy says, okay, go and talk to Pastor, go ask somebody in the embassy, will they get the ticket? So I asked somebody from the embassy, and the embassy said, yes, we have a program that we're going to give him the ticket. Okay. So the guy came to me and said, okay, I'm going to get the ticket in the embassy on Thursday. This was Monday. Please give me the money because I need to do some buying. I need to buy products from here so that all the, the money you are promising to give me, you need to give me now because I need a week to do shopping, to buy all the, everything I need to do business in Nigeria. I need to ship it because the business will be, the container will be going ahead of my ticket. So I need to pack the container. I need the money. So I said, good. So I went and gave him the money just 1 week. 1 week before is what he said. I gave him 1 week before. I gave him the money 1 week before he leaves. He said he's leaving. He's getting his ticket on Thursday. So I gave him money on Monday. He was supposed to leave the country on Friday or Saturday. To my utter surprise, I got a letter from the guy a week later. I said, oh, where are you writing from? Are you writing from Nigeria? He said, no, I'm here. I said, what happened? He said, Pastor, help me thank God. I said, oh, what's the problem? What's the miracle? He said, oh, thank God. God has answered your prayer, my prayer. So what's the answer? He said, well, I was planning to go to Nigeria. I said, yes. I remember for sure that you are planning to go to Nigeria because my budgeted money I gave to you, my friend. So I remember that you're planning to go to Nigeria. What about the business? Oh, he said, Pastor, because I was calling him. He said, no, thank God. God has done the miracle. What miracle? He said, I was supposed to leave on Friday. But just before I bought my ticket on Thursday, before I bought the ticket on Thursday, in one place where one American company that I had applied to before, they just came back to me, and said, you got the job. So they got me a job with a good salary. That salary they gave him is almost as good as the old money that I gave to him. And he said, so I decided not to go back to Africa anymore. I don't need to go back because I have this good salary here. I said, good, okay. And I told him, bro, since you are a Christian, you know that there are other people who are always asking me for money. And all these people who are asking me for money, because if I've given you these thousands of dollars, and if you could return the money, I will be able to have more money to help other people because I have so many people who are desperate just like you. And the reason I decided to give you that money was because you are going to Africa. And you think I got the money back up to now? Who are you there? You think I got my money back, huh? Even though the guy has business now, has money, he's working with American company, he's a church member, coming to church, seeing me. So when I see him the next time, instead of me to ask when I'm about to ask him the money, what about the money? Will you give me back the money or not? The guy will say, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Oh, God has answered the prayer. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Yes, God is good. God is good. Oh, yes, Pastor. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. So I became a father all overnight, I used to be pastor before. Now I'm father or daddy, whatever they say. Daddy, father, they will call you anything just for you to pray on your emotions. Yeah, you say, that's what emotions does. That's what emotion does for you. You think I got the money back? You all know the answer. I never got anything back. Let me tell you another story. This year too. And I'm sure some of the people who know this story will be laughing at me now. I'm always a victim every day. Every month I'm in one kind of story or the other like this. This guy called me back and I didn't know, I never met him or anything, but he wrote me from Nigeria and he wrote a very passionate letter and and he said, I want to be your representative in Nigeria. I like your articles. I've been following you. I'm your disciple. I've been reading your books, your articles. I've been following you for over 10 years, all this and that. But, I finished this university. I'm a graduate. I'm gifted in this and that. But unemployment in Nigeria has just been so bad. I've been unemployed and unemployment has been an issue. If you could just help me to go to a school, maybe, what school is that? I think, I'm a motivational speaker. I like to speak. I'm a public speaker. I want to be like you. So, I have a course that I've applied for, with John Maxwell and another guy, the famous motivational speaker in America. So I need some amount of money to attend that. And once I finish that course, I want to start my own motivational business in Nigeria. I'm good. He wrote me all his credentials, very good credentials. And it was really happy. It was really happening. And I would normally not respond and give money like that, but he was taking my articles and really helping, giving the articles, taking the articles to newspapers and really working and really, and really taking the articles to do, he helping me really doing some work. So I thought, okay, this guy is doing this work. Let me just invest some money in him. But it's maybe not a big amount of money. That time it was $500,000 naira, but that's like $3,000 naira, $3,000 or so. So I gave him this. I sent the money to him, $3,000 or $4,000, and so I said, I was expecting his reply. And it took him about 6 months to give me a report what he has done with the money, because he was writing me about any other thing, but he would never write me about what he's done with money, you see. He would write me about, the articles, about this, but not about money. So when I asked him, how far with your classes and with your motivational company, the guy got back to me and said, and sent me, what he did? This was really interesting. This one that one really totally surprised me, because totally different from what I expected. I know that people would normally maybe eat the money and that's about it, but they will not give you any report. But this one was actually giving me a report. So he gave me a very good report. He said, well, what thank you so much for the money you sent me. Oh, that was a real lifesaver. If not for that, your money, things would have really gone bad. Thank God, thank God for that money. So he said, what I've done with it, because something happened with the courses, with those courses, something, maybe the money was not enough, or it was this and that. And so what I decided to do with the money was that your money came at the right time. Your money helped me because I needed some money for my family. They put me out from my apartment, from my rental apartment. The landlord put him out. And so I just decided that, okay, since they are putting me out, let me just use this money to build myself a structure. So what he did, to prove to me that he's not a crook, and to prove to me that he's not a liar, and he's not a thief, he took the pictures of the house he had built, half house. I never saw that before I left Nigeria, but half a house. It's like half a house with roofing and maybe 2 rooms. And then it's built one half of the house and the other half is left. And he's telling me, I built one half a house, and but we still don't have money for the furniture. He's trying to suggest to me, okay, the money you said was only enough to build one half of the house. Now we need some more money for the furniture. Bye. And so I went back hard on him. I went hard. I told him, you are irresponsible. You are very deceptive. I would never have anything to do with you again. And all that. I told him, you told me you are going to use this thing to make more money. You are going to use, I wouldn't have given you this money if I knew you were going to build a house. You told me you are going to use it to do business and to, start your motivational speaking something. So is that motivational speaking? So the guy wrote me back and said, I was heartless, I was wicked, I was not putting myself in his own position. What would I have done in his place? And because the money came on time, and since I had given him the money, it's not, my business what he does with the money. But people in our place don't know that it is part of responsibility, you see, for you to say, if you say you are going to use this money for this, you only use it for what you say you are going to use it for. And if you want to change the course of what you want to use the money for, then you better Somebody is writing, the guy has known you Yahoo, sir. What is Yahoo? What is Yahoo? What do you mean has done me Yahoo? Yahoo, you mean Yahoo? You mean like Google? He has Googled me? You know? No, he has done me Yahoo? Okay, don't worry about that. Anyway, so the people sometimes don't know that once you promise, once you give your word, once a money is designated for a certain purpose, when they have given you money to be used just for this thing, you don't use the money for any other thing. And for you to use it for any other thing, you must go back to the person who gave you that money and explain to them that you needed to use the money for another thing. So, or maybe you need to give the money back. But, but this guy thought that I was wicked, you see. Okay, Yahoo is 419. Oh, 419, but that's for Nigerians. People who are not Nigerians here don't know what 419 means. Anyway, if you are not a Nigerian here, 419, they said Yahoo and 419 means the same thing. So that means 419 means what a fraudster, that they have defrauded you. That's what it means, that they have defrauded me. Okay, Yahoo also means they have defrauded me. All right, I think these people are not frauds, really. I think they might be good. I don't know. It's difficult. I don't want to get my mind to think that they have defrauded me. I don't think they are frauds. I think they are not frauds. I think they are normal guys, really. I think both the one that wanted to go to Nigeria to start a business, maybe he's coming to church. He looks nice. He's greeting me all the time. Daddy, daddy, father, daddy. He looks nice. He looks okay. He's working now. He's not giving me my money back, but is that a fraudster? Is that 419? Maybe, but I know it's deception. It's absolutely deception. And it's lying. It's definitely lying. But are they 419? Maybe you need to help him. It could be 419. I don't know. Then this other guy in Nigeria, I think the problem in that culture, I think it's about the culture. I think the problem in Nigerian culture is that people don't know that you must be faithful to what you had initially promised to do. I think people don't know the difference. Because I used to be like that also when I was in Nigeria. When somebody gives me money, even though I told him that I was going to use the money for maybe to buy books, then I discovered that, since this money is enough to buy uniform, I would just rather use it for uniform instead of for books. So in Nigeria, sometimes we don't see that is unfaithfulness already. And we've not been taught that is also a sin. That when you are giving money for a particular agenda, it's just like churches, And many churches do this. So if you want to call what that guy did a Yahoo thing or 419 thing, then all churches in Nigeria are 419 then. Because 90%, not just in Nigeria, all over the world, 90% of churches all over the world, they take your offering or they call for some project or the other, and that project never comes to pass, or that project never happens, and they will never return your money to you. They will just take the money and use it for another project right off. So then that is also defrauding, or that is also 419. Or they will take your money and they will tell you they want to use it for missionary trip or missions, but you don't see the churches they started. You don't see the countries they have subdued. So the money didn't go for whatever they have promised that it was going to go for. So what is that? I think that is also, I know it's unfaithfulness in money. I know it's a sin. I know it's irresponsibility. I know it's lack of shrewdness. It's poor and bad stewardship. But will you call it 419? If that is 419, then all those churches are 419. So then if that is 419 and Yahoo, then, I need you to tell me what you think about the churches. Because 90% of churches, they don't have integrity when it comes to money. And also, not just because they don't have integrity, but also because they are emotional. So many of these churches, they spend money emotionally. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is that money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. Money is not emotional. So I'm just trying to use my personal experience to share with you that I've been a victim of that. And I've suffered because I thought that body was that I needed to be a good person. And when you are thinking that you are you are trying to be kind, and some of you who are giving to churches and just wasting your money on those churches, some of you too are, you are trying to be kind and you want to get favor from the pastor, and you want the pastor to think that you are kind, or you are good, or you are a good giver. So and they abuse your kindness, and they use your money not in the without accountability. They don't give you accountability for the money, and then they use the money for maybe what you would not have sanctioned in the first place. And even though we all say, well, the money I give to church, I give to God, and so it's the pastor's business, and the pastor is the one responsible. But what about when they do to you what those guys did to me? When they say they are going to use, they need this money for this, and then they don't really need it for that, and they use it for something else, or they use it for their car, or they use it for their house, or they use it for whatever, for whatever they want to do for their conference. And you don't want conference, you want people to, you want it to be used for something else. And when people behave like that, what do you call that? Would that be, I know it's, so some of us have got to really examine our money habits and how we have been given. So one thing you should know, that money is not emotional. Money is logical. Money is not emotional. Money is logical. So when it comes to money, you don't want to be driven by emotion. And many people would always appeal to your emotions, and they will try to manipulate your emotions. And the goal is just to get your money to come out of your hands. And the goal of that is just to get you to give your money. So if you are going to, to be too emotional about money, you will never be wealthy. You will never be well to do financially, because there are a lot of emotional things out there. There are a lot of emotional appeals out there that, that will just be taking your money all the time. Well, I will continue this topic in the evening. My time seems to be up already, and nice to see all of you. But will you please go ahead and share this message? Will you go ahead and share the link? Share this message. You go to your share button if you don't mind. Go to your share button and share this message with somebody. Maybe it could be a blessing. It could be a blessing to someone. Maybe it will help somebody. So let's go and share this message. And while we do that, I want to hear your decisions about my message today. Money is not emotional. What do you think about it? Will you write me something? Will you write something about it? Will you tell me what you think about this teaching? I want to hear your opinion. Please let me read out what you think. Let me read out what you think about this topic, okay? Money is not emotional. What's your thought about it? Write your comments, please. Will you write your comments, please? What's your comment about today's teaching? I'm back. Sorry for that. What do you think about today's teaching? Will you write something for me, please? What do you think about today's teaching? Let me see what you're writing. What's your assessment of today's teaching? What are your decisions, especially? Justin Manyu say, thank you for sharing, Pastor. It is good to know that this also happened to you. I now need to learn to be logical and less emotional. I have to act as a man when it comes to money. Thank you, sir. Yeah, money is not emotional. Money is more logical. Maraizu Ikeshuku said, this teaching is sharpening my money skills. Patricia Agbino said, Pastor, I'm a victim of emotional giving, and at the end, they turn around to ridicule me. Uh, Toshuku Nwako said, "Thank you, Pastor. This is an eye-opener for me." Bukola Adedoyin said, okay, talking to some Mr. Ifeanyi there. Carmen says, "I had some experience. May the Lord continue to bless you." Ikeshuku Nwadiashi says, "Emotional giving has been my worst problem. It stops right now." Olayinka Olusheyi said, "This message deliver us from the manipulator in disguise of raising money for the kingdom of God." Right. Osoba says, "A topic is great and touching." Tatiana says, "There is a purpose for every amount of money, and I have to use them on the original purpose." That's good. Nkem says, "I think emotions can come in if it's a critical situation and involves the life of someone." Okay. Yeah, but no problem for emotions to come in, but just don't spend money emotionally. You spend the money you are designated for that purpose. Instead of spending the money you are not designated for that purpose, spend the money that is already booked to be used for such similar situation. Kuteyi Orose said, "Pastor, not everyone deserves your help. You are not a bank." Yeah, that's what I wrote in my book. Money will make you rich, that you are not a bank. Martin Jovi, "Being a major challenge for me, and I'm very glad this topic was well discussed. We'll be more conscious in times ahead. Thank you." Andrew Shegun said, "Correct message, either you like it or not. It's my resolution and it's working for me." Andre Tarasuk said, "I want to know how to treat these people, the 419 people. Not to talk to them, not ever give to them again." No, never talk to them and never give to them again, I think. Queen Francis says, "But will use because of fraudsters and will not be emotional to help people." I think, okay, we will because of fraudsters not be emotional to help people. You listen to the message in the beginning. I said you can help people. You just have to have a certain percentage of your income that you are using to help people. And you have to tell them that this is the amount you can give them, not just give them the amount you can afford. Ushena Okoronko says, "Great teaching. I have been victim of emotional giving. I've got to put that in check and be more logical." Charles Smith says, "Laws are going to be my guiding principles." Olukayode says, "From today's teaching, sir, I learned that deceptive tendencies of people will hold us back. It is highly pronounced around me." Lopez Abimbola said, "I have more understanding about emotionally giving money. Esther says, "Decision in the area of giving." Now, Esther is the one that really listened to me. I said we should write our decisions. So, Esther, you are right. You listen to me for sure. In the area of giving and helping, once the designated amount is used up, then that's it. I will confidently say, "Sorry, I don't have the money." Yes, that is very good. Bukola says, today's teaching has been inspiring. It's so true. Money should not be emotional. Osos Basse says, "I learn from you every day because you are God sent to change